Incredible! Unbelievable!
Save! And fuck our champions! Good up, Pepe! Goal!
It doesn't get any better than that.
Hello everyone and welcome to Laurel Hill Park in Secaucus. I'm Sam Lopresti for Game in Frame. We are here for the APSL Metropolitan Conference season finale between Hoboken FC and the New York Athletic Club. Bit of a delay for some of the New York Athletic Club players, so we will be starting the game at 4:15. Hoboken locked into 5th place this year. That'll be a second straight 5th place finish for them. They're looking to end on a high note after finally ending their long winless streak last week against Kid Super Samba. Meanwhile, Nyack, away from the relegation spots, they are in 8th right now. However, they'll want at least a point here because there is a conceivable series of results that might suck them into 11th and into the relegation playout space, although that is admittedly exceptionally unlikely. We'll have all of the action for you right here on Game in Frame and the Game in Frame YouTube channel in just a moment. Today's Game and Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic. Salt have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag to save athletes and their nearest and dearest from smelly footwear after the game. The air case blocks smell using antimicrobial technology that makes for odor-free car rides and houses. Learn more about air case and place your order by scanning the QR code. The Salt Athletic have given the Game and Frame community an exclusive discount, so scan the QR code to get 10% off and keep it fresh. Back here at Laurel Hill Park for the final game of the regular season for these two clubs. Hoboken, like we said before, locked into a second consecutive fifth place finish in the Metropolitan Conference, but they are not going to be happy with that as this season comes to a close. The second half of the year so difficult. A 9-game winless streak coming out of the winter holidays. They didn't win a league game until last week when they beat Kid Super Samba 1-0. After a good start to the season in the first half, they were in fourth place going into Christmas. Off we go. Nyack in red, Hoboken in blue. And that's Azar Brown who jumps in, trying to find Mike Bello. And Hoboken immediately moving to push the pace. Here's Luke Smith, Justinian Michaels trying to flick that back to him. Still here. It's Bello on the byline. Michaels back into the box, header. That's saved on the line. Brown hits it on the turn, but it's over. Some early pressure from Hoboken. Like we said before, Nyack above the relegation scrap at the moment. It is unlikely, but it is still a mathematical possibility for them to get pulled all the way down to 11th and into that play-out spot. Stefanos Hondrakis. That's upfield. That's Brian Paredes with the header. Smith trying to force that through the middle. That's over the top. Shot first time by Nicholas Yandelit. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. But Aldair Kazun with an easy save there. Pair of shots early in the first 3 minutes of this game. Kazun. Now Hondrakis. Chris Huacon into the middle. And that's Mike Park who steps in to take that away, and Brown will restart things. Smith. Will be flipped off of a Hoboken player. Some nice move there, but Park there to get it away. Here's Brown. Corey Burkhart switches that to his brother Spencer. That's into the middle. Header is rejected. It goes back in, and the referee will call. The referee will call that offside. There is no flag on this side of the field. We only have a two-man officiating crew today. Bello was offside on that second ball. Down the side here, Jack Mulhare. Yali Seltzberg. That's some good pressure there. Ondrakis keeps that from being a Hoboken run. Goal kick coming. Skips off of the foot of Scott Enman. Pass was headed for Bello, but Enman ends up giving Hoboken a decent spot here. Smith forced back, looking for Michaels on the near side here. Michaels trying to keep it alive, but it will roll over. Vasilios Dimopoulos, the goalkeeper for Nyack. Headed out by Michaels. Clock on will trigger this back in. Michaels takes that away from Salzburg, and Hoboken can reset this. Paredes. Field. Nice ball there by Luca D'Stasio to get the ball to Brown, but Brown overhit his through ball in for Bello. Interesting seeing both D'Stasio and Brown on the field at the same time as Adam Garner tries to flick that over to Burkhart, but puts it over his head. Smith tried but couldn't win the ball. And offside is the call out there on the far side. Bello and D'Stasio both have been the two main guys that have been trying to establish themselves in the number 9 slot ever since the vacancy there of Ali Dawa after he moved to Lansdowne Yonkers. This one, though, turned over deep in their own territory by Nyack. Burkhart being held up by Enman. It's going to be a throw-in in a very advanced position here. Adam Garner will take it. He tries to find Smith. That's Christ Suchente. Getting it away. Michaels. Driven back. Here's Park. Park has played a lot of center back in the second half of this year as various things have eroded the depth of this team. That's looking for DeStasio. Little bit too far for him. Dimopoulos trying to get this out. Salzburg. Smith picks that up. Back to Burkhart. Back to Paredes. And that's dispossessed. Paredes dispossessed. It was Mike Park who came up with the stop, though. Corey Burkhart. Here's Garner. It was Noah Kossoff who picked the pocket of Brian Paredes earlier. Here's Garner. Garner thought he had somebody in the middle. Dimopoulos. Long up the field. It's headed into the path of Jack Mulhare. He'll have to back that up, though. Here's Kossoff. Sliding challenge by Garner knocks him off of it. Enough for Park to take him out. That's Chuente who fouls his man. It was Azer Brown. Garner. Hoboken seemed to have identified that side in the last few minutes as a spot they want to attack. Here's Burkhart. Pushes it along for Garner. He's going to cross, and it's behind the line. Dimopoulos looks like he wants to take this long. And he tells everybody that. Burkhart up for the header along with Kossoff, and he's going to get called for the foul there. Looked like he might have gotten stepped on there. Salzburg has to back that up to Huacon. all the way back to Dimopoulos. Upfield. Michaels was a little bit further upfield than he ought to have been. Paredes was measuring Matthew Contino there. Contino's cross didn't have anybody in the box to attack it. Garner now. Garner moving across the field. Here is Brown now. Bello. And Bello was pulled back. It's going to be a interesting looking free kick here on the far side for Hoboken. Ordinarily, you'd say that's not exactly a spot where you want Bello, but when you've got a guy like DiStasio who can act as the 9, who out on the right to drift in on the right wing, having him move is not the worst of ideas. Spencer Burkhart's gonna be the one to send this in. Looks like he might have tried to go for the near post himself there. It's up. That is DiStasio trying to head it across. And that was over the head of Brown. It's going to be a corner kick. Last came off of Nyack. Brown was looking for a penalty call there, said that he was held down. Into the mix again, headed away. Garner. Smith. That was a mistake there by Garner at the last, but not a big one. Brown able to track back to him. Hoboken a little bit rushed there. Garner intercepting the throw. Backing it all the way back to Paredes. Kizun. Spencer Burkhart. And Brown has his pocket picked by Kossoff. Second time that we've seen Kossoff pull that dispossession in that area of the field. And pass forward a little bit wayward, easy for Park. Garner. And Park has to be careful. He let that go and got very lucky that Yandelit fell over as he was about to address that shot. Brown trying to find Michaels at the near side. Wakon with the interception, a good one. Long pass, Paredes is there. Schuente. Stasio letting that go. Spencer Burkhart trying to push it for Bello. Didn't look like he was expecting that. Hoboken, though, very much the aggressors right now. Very much in control of the possession. That's popped all the way up and out of play, another throw. Burkhart to his brother, Corey Burkhart. Now DiStasio trying to slip that between the legs of Wakon. Michaels will retain possession here. And that's a call goes to first call went to Hoboken, which looked a little bit wrong. Second call going to Nyack. That was a pretty hard hit that DeStasio took. The call is a throw-in for Nyack. I wonder if that was a makeup call, to be honest with you. Paredes loses that to Chuente. Out on the far side, Contino. Can't get through, but does retain the throw. Scoring goals has been the issue for Nyack this year. This is why Contino just missed that one. Yandelit leaving his feet to connect with Contino's cross. Hoboken leaving themselves a little too open in the back on that play. Almost got hit against the run of play. Michaels trying to push the ball straight back. And there's DeStasio. Just missed that header. He and Aiden Conahan looked like they came together when that at the very last second and canceled each other out. Here's Garner. Hoboken want this win, obviously, end the season on a high note. You've also got, just want to end the habit that they've had, not just this year, but last year as well, of not getting results against teams that they really ought to be beating. Nyack was one of those teams last year here at Laurel Hill. Hoboken went up very early, but were pegged back quickly by a Antonio Rocha brace and ended up losing that game 2-1. One of several results that, had Hoboken brought it home, they might have made the playoffs last year. They were only a point behind fourth place last year, and they would at least very much be in the race were it not for games like 1-1 draws against Vistula and Doxa, a wild 5-4 loss here at Laurel Hill against Richmond County that really hurt. Burkhart. Forward. Brown gonna move out to the wing. Nice move. Trying to cut it back for Burkhart. Now he stabs it into the middle. Bello doesn't have a shooting area. Here's Garner. Targets in the box for him. Conahan. Bello! Right at Dimopoulos. First time Hoboken have found the target today. Paredes takes that after Michaels forced Huacon to, or sorry, that was Salzburg that he forced to move the ball a little too quickly. Here's Garner now. Brown. That was a little bit behind Luke Smith, but he recovers. Cross into the near post, a little too close to Demopoulos. High into the air. Paredes wins the header. Burkhart wins the second ball, but Nyack out with possession. Chuente. Salzburg thought he had a target. Huacon looked like he got clipped there, but it was a fair tackle. He made the ball, but he might be down for an extended period of time here. Huacon landed awkwardly. Referee does finally stop play to get him some attention. Says he's all right. Referee, I think, bring this back into play with a free kick here. Or at the very least an extensively modified drop ball. Towards the middle. Contino, another one, and Alder Kizun that time out off his line to pick it off before Salzburg got there. Michaels, DeStasio, Smith switches that for Burkhart, and Burkhart mishandling that a little bit. Keeping an eye on Chris Huacon just to see if he is truly shaken off that knock he just took. He's got his hands on his knees right now. Throw in intercepted by Garner. Now Corey Burkhart. DeStasio. Too heavy a touch, and Conahan steps out. Yandelit with Paredes for company. Now Burkhart comes to help. That one is stopped and very close to the opening goal. The cross was stopped by Park, but it rolled right into the path. I believe it was Noah Kossoff who hit it. That back pass taken away, but pass far too flat. Michaels. That's good pass there. It gets away from Salzburg, who right now is overloading that far side. Brown taken out with a slide, no call. That did not look as clean as the referee must have thought it was. Kossoff. Here's Enman. Tries to find that in the middle. Mulhair backs it up. Yandelit. Up towards the far post. No one can make contact. 28th minute here at Laurel Hill. Goalless so far. Each team has put a shot on target. Neither one of them a particularly difficult save, as Justinian Michaels has afforded all kinds of time. Something that Kossoff does not afford to Corey Burkhart. Garner, Park, Burkhart back to Paredes. Spencer Burkhart through the middle here. It's like he and Brown have switched up. It's a good play. Given right back though. Chuente intercepting the pass. That one too far. Some lazy passes right now. Garner eschewing with the passes. Garner saved by Demopoulos and then cleared off the line by Huacon. Bello block. He wanted a handball on that block. Referee no whistle. Brown. Ball is blocked to Demopoulos. That's one way to do it if you're Adam Garner. The passing's been jiggly, so just carry it through yourself. Demopoulos only just got to that. Drop ball is to Hoboken here. That's a shot from Garner again, this time an easier save. Mulhare. Huacon. Mulhare couldn't get to that one. Here's Paredes. Burkhart. Michaels was able to leak out onto the wing on the near side. It's headed down, and Conahan with a good diving header to put that behind before it got to Bello. Third corner of the match. Burkhart will take it. Hoboken are starting to knock on the door a little bit harder. Into the middle, right at Demopoulos. Puts that one high into the air. I think the wind had more of a say in where that ended up than Demopoulos did. I think he was aiming for this near side and Yandelit. But we do have a rather stiff wind. That's Brown. Just missed it. Another good pass in. You wouldn't blame Hoboken if they started to think that that ball's going to go into the net sooner rather than later. Burkhart wins that. Paredes. Burkhart. Michaels thought he had someone coming to help. Huacon trying to fire that into the middle. Park, the only recipient. Here's Brown. Chuente jumping him for the ball, but gets it taken right away. Here's Burkhart now. There's Mulhare taking a step in, putting him off his stride, and sending it all the way down to Dimopoulos. Corey Burkhart gaining possession again. D'Estasio looking to dribble around Hondrakis. Hondrakis redirecting that ball across. It was Luke Smith who was coming in on the run. Here's Huacon. Does seem to have shaken off that knock he took. Into the center. Contino. Out to the right. Ball into the middle. Yandalit looking for the header but can't connect. D'Estasio. Huacon pokes it out. A little more than 10 minutes to go in this first half. Michaels goes a little too long for D'Estasio, but it's off of Kossoff's foot last. Referee wants that taken farther back. Brown, the target of that throw in. Hondrakis pushes it out. Hoboken working their way up the near sideline. Brown again. Good turn to get away from Huacon there. Still got Hondrakis in front of him, and Huacon came in from behind. Chuente overhits that by a lot. Huacon still seems to be in some pain behind the play. And that sprint a moment ago, it looked like he had shaken that off, but Justinian Michaels here on the near side was about to ask the referee to stop play for him again before Huacon signaled that he could still go. Park, good ball. That's going to lead Michaels perfectly. Michaels trying to find Brown with the run in the middle. Contino can't handle it. Garner regains. Hoboken trying to reset again. Park. It's Contino. Gets it away from Spencer Burkhart. And the flag coming up on Salzburg. Michaels, a lot of the attack has run through him in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Trying that other side now, though. Bello pushes Conahan over. If you'd like to take a look at some more action for the weekend tonight, we've got quite a bit. In just about 3 minutes, scheduled to start, is the USASA Amateur Cup semifinal between New York Penn Cyprian and Lansdowne Yonkers. Vistula, Garfield, and Richmond County at 6. That's in the APSL Metropolitan Conference. On Sports Engine, you can find USL 2 action, the Long Island Rough Riders and Ironbound. This is Burkhart moving. He's going to get a corner out of that. And the last game, and perhaps the most important game on the schedule for the APSL today, at 8 p.m., that's Doxa versus Kid Super Samba. That is a direct playoff for the automatic relegation spot. Doxa is currently 12th, 1 point behind Kid Super. Corner in the crowd. Contino's going to run it out. Trying to find Salzburg, but he's all alone. Chuente to Yandalit. Trying to put that through the middle, but Corey Burkhart's right there. Sorry, that was Garner. But Michaels gives it right back. Chuente. Contino. Stopped by Garner before he can cross. Kossoff. Ball is dropped back. Bello going to try to hold up. Ooh! D'Estasio. Hard into Huacon. Surprised that that wasn't a yellow either for the challenge or for the argument afterwards. Not quite sure what D'Estasio was arguing there. He went flying into Huacon, who has taken a beating in this first half. D'Estasio going hard into Huacon. Was furious at the referee for calling the foul. He was certainly going for the ball, but he did not get it. And Huacon is still, he's only just rolled onto his back out of a fetal position on the field. Nyack are inquiring as to the lack of a card there for D'Estasio. He's not even been cautioned. They probably want something a lot worse. Huacon back up. He's Huacon might have taken a hit below the belt. That might be what kept him down for so long. Here's Contino with a shot well off target. Some contention in the final stages of this first half. A little less than 3 minutes to go. There might be some stoppage time given how long Huacon stayed on the deck today. It's not a slight to him. Burkhart's going to beat Enman to that, but he needs some targets. Trying to squirt that into the box, but Demopoulos with the easy save. And again, that looked like Demopoulos was trying to get that ball much farther out to the left side than it ended up being because of the wind coming off the river back behind us. That one was clean. Hoboken will start from back in their own third. Period in the middle of this half where Hoboken really felt like they were coming close to the opener. Wind's kind of come out of the sails of this match, especially after that hammer that Hoboken took. Hoboken. Schwente. It's tipped away. Enman trying to send it deep. It was deflected. Garner trying to feed Burkhart up the line. Conahan trying to move that up to Kossoff. Hoboken will claim this one. Andrakis will back that up. Dimopoulos upfield. Park nabs that away from Kossoff. Corey Burkhart moving it forward. Here's DeStasio. Hoboken maybe going in for a little revenge there. DeStasio putting it in. Conahan ends up getting it out. Hoboken leaving his feet there as DeStasio was coming on. Enman wanted to cross that, and it looks like we might have had another low blow on that block. Outside of the boot cross, Kossoff just couldn't get to it. Kazun gets a hold of it, and that is going to be it for the first half. Goalless through the first 45. Hoboken coming closer. And a little bit of argument coming right at the end of the half. But halfway home here at Laurel Hill Park, it is Hoboken 0, New York Athletic Club 0. We're going to send you now to our April Save of the Month nominees. If you'd like to vote, then go to the Game and Frame Instagram page. Voting will end at 11:59 p.m. tonight. Punched out by Spielvogel. Burkhart fires! Oh, that was off the bottom of the bar!
Gomez, his first touch. Drop now for Munoz, first time. Munoz, what a save that is! From the right hand of P. Wenzel into the crossbar and out for a corner.
This kick. Into the box. Oh, what a save! Dadone with a great one-handed save.
His first time inside at goal, gets past two, takes a shot, and Niche does so well to meet the shot, tipping the ball over the bar.
On the back end, speculative effort that's gonna fall, force someone in the box. Oh, very nearly. A reaction save forced from Caporales.
Blocks that cross from Puig. Sharifi now fires! Another save by Kazun! That's his third in the half!
My name is Austin Brummett. I'm a men's soccer player at San Diego State University and I play forward. The Salt Air Case helps block odor from my cleats when I'm driving in my car or when I'm keeping my cleats inside my house so I don't have to worry about it stinking up my room. It helps me keep track of my cleats and my shin guards so I know that they're together and I don't have to worry about tracking them down or losing them or stressing out about where they are. I would definitely rock this, walking to the games, walking around to my trainings. And it's super helpful for travel. When I travel in the airport to go to away games, it's not going to stink up my backpack or stink up the plane where I'm sitting. Magnetic strip on the top is super easy to open to take my cleats out and to put my cleats back in. I think it's an essential part of my outfit for soccer and helps keep all my stuff organized and stink-free.
A quality highlight reel is crucial for college and pro recruitment. A lot of services offer generic solutions, but at Game & Frame we know every player is unique and needs a personalised approach to win over coaches. Our process is simple. We work with any footage, and if you need help finding your best plays, we'll review games for you. Once we've finished, you'll have a reel you can upload to any recruitment platform. We've helped hundreds of players get the attention they deserve, including placements in Division 1 programs. Scan the QR code or email us for a free consultation and start the journey to maximize your recruitment potential.
Welcome back to Laurel Hill Park. No score here between Hoboken and the New York Athletic Club. And I believe we are seeing a change for Nyack. Chris Wacon has not come back out for the second half, and I do not blame him at all for that. He got beaten around the post in that first half. And he is on the bench taking off his gear. He really took a couple of wallopings. Hoboken are going to get us started. These clouds not looking very nice. It's not supposed to rain today. Garner. Bello. Foul is called against Matthew Contino. Daniel Barrera, number 59, has come in to take the place of Wacon. Paredes gets that back to Smith. Chuente. It's a offside call there on the, I believe on the initial ball. Brown was about to try to volley that with Dimopoulos a little bit off his line. Dimopoulos had called for that. Aiden Conahan didn't listen. That's D'Estasio with some strength there against Jack Mulhare. Trying to roll that over to Burkhart. Bello! What a goal! Mike Bello! And less than 2 minutes into the half, a fantastic shot by Mike Bello. Credit to Luca D'Estasio. He did a lot of the dirty work. Won't get the assist because it did come off a Nyack man last. But he did a lot of dirty work to try to force the ball into the box and ended up putting the ball into position for Bello to take that shot. What a beauty it was. It's the 6th of the year for Bello. Only joined the team in late March. D'Estasio again. Garner. That looked like a hand in the middle, and another one. Neither time the referee moved. Aiden Conahan definitely handled that first one. Neither one of them called by the referee, and Nyack perhaps very lucky there. Dimopoulos sending it long. Nyack are going to have to try to open things up now. See how that affects things. Garner. Garner on the move. Garner has, and it's an offside call there I think against DiStasio. Garner and Michaels the two fullbacks have really been pushing a lot of the attacking action today for Hoboken. There's Brown. He had a pretty good first half. Backed up. Park gets through the challenge. And Kazun gets it away. Mulher fouled by Brown. Gathering towards the far post there. Let's see if they break. They do. Into the box, headed out by Michaels. Garner flips it clear. Bello with a good header to DiStasio. Bello moving. He's got Garner ahead of him. That's a hard foul from behind by Jack Mulher. Not sure if the yellow is for the foul or the reaction when he kicked the ball into the side fence there in frustration, but it was certainly a foul, taking Garner down by the ankles from behind. First caution of the match. A little bit surprising, given that Luca DiStasio probably deserved one in the first half. Burkhart sends that in, punched out by Demopoulos. Corey Burkhart gives chase to that. He's going to let it go out for the throw. Michaels. Burkhart. Barrera gets his first touch in. Gandley trying to leap for that. Wanted a call, but Park had position. Looks like Nyack are about to make another change here. DiStasio. Burkhart. Michaels is behind him. That's a cross. Demopoulos. And they're calling that a corner. Saying that he carried it over the line. It's hard to see. There were a couple of bodies in the way there. Nyack have grown increasingly upset with the referee here in this game. He has made some questionable calls either way. Conahan jumping over the top of DiStasio as Garner tags that one and it bends wide at the last second. Kazun's going to take this. Here's Garner. Conahan flicks that out. And not before Bello had straight offside. Contino flipping that ball off of DeStasio and then asking for a handball after it looked like he just directed it right onto him. Brown. Good defending by Hondrakis there. Chuente. Luke Smith regains it from him. Burkhart puts that into the middle. Conahan got a foot in just ahead of Bello. Hoboken are pushing for their second here. Brown misses that tackle. Didn't make a whole lot of contact on Mulhare, which is probably why the card is not coming out. Clearly aiming for the ball there, but he mistimed it. Dimopoulos is coming all the way out from the goal to dispute things with the referee. He's also going to take this free kick. A little early for this kind of kick in. Park heads it out. DeStasio. Smith, a little too far for Bello, and Conahan able to get it away. Kossoff. Contino can't get it past Park. Here's Garner now. Garner going on his own again. He's got Bello on his left. Brown wanted the shot there, but Chuente put some doubt into his mind, and he held up just too long. 1-0. Hoboken, after their 47th minute opener. Nyack gonna get the throw in here. Can't say that Hoboken don't deserve this lead. They've had the upper hand for most of the game so far. Nyack have been waiting to put on those substitutes for a couple minutes now. Luca DeStasio couldn't get it away from Chuente. Referee is letting a lot of things play here, much to the frustration of some of these players. That's a good attempt by Spencer Burkhart to try to put Bello in, but he couldn't beat the cover. Enman. And Corey Burkhart smacks it away. Feels like Nyack are getting a bit pumped up here. Question is, are they getting pumped up in the proper way? Is it working them up, or is it sharpening their focus? DeStasio is, and that is a throw-in for Hoboken. Good defending there by DeStasio. DeStasio and Burkhart have switched sides in this second half. And now changes being made. Noah Kossoff stepping away, so too is Matt Contino. Tremaine Bryan is one substitute. Enman. Kazun. Good distance on that kick, given he didn't get much backswing on that. Smith gets his pocket picked. Yandalit. Brown moving against Yandalit, who escapes that. Park blocking the cross, and Kazun will finally pull it in. Nemanja Denic, the other substitution for Nyack. He's the one that just led Yandalit into the box there. He's playing as the striker now. Bello gets that taken off of him by Yandalit. And Enman fouled by Bello. Looking to poke it away, but Smith gets possession immediately. Burkhart. Spencer Burkhart. Bello gets around Enman. Conahan digs that out just in time. Spencer Burkhart was there for a return, and it would have been a tap in. Michaels pokes that away from Denic. Hoboken will reset here. Hoboken looking to end the season on a positive streak after such a difficult second half. There's Smith chasing after that, but it'll be too far for him. It's been all sorts of Salzburg trying to carry that across. Brown taken down by Denic, who apologizes immediately. And change coming for Hoboken here. It's Josie Sanchez who has stripped off. This might be... Now it's going to be Brown, which probably means that Mike Park is going to be pushed up to midfield. And now you do have two natural center backs on the field. Paredes and Sanchez haven't seen this pair in action yet. Kazun to Garner. That wind again causing problems. Yandalit taking it away from Garner, and Sanchez across for his first action immediately, pulling it away from him. Two more substitutes for Nyack are warming up. This is going to go all the way back to Hondrakis. Brian Barrera. Michaels chests that down. Smith couldn't hold it, but that pass not to anyone in particular. Paredes, I think, thought that he was going to have support there from his goalkeeper, but Kazun didn't come out. It's a turnover by Smith, and now Nyack can run with a short field. And Salzburg cracks that into the back of his own player. That was a promising run for Nyack. But Salzburg put that right into the back of Nemanja Denic. Wind is really starting to pick up. Any of the high passes that are trying to come to this near side are just getting blown back. Yandelate. Sanchez dispossesses him, but it goes right back to Bryant. High in the air, and Kazun's going to let it bounce into the side netting. Kazun with the goal kick. That came off the arm of Conahan. This referee seems just conditioned to ignore any potential handballs. Enman triggers it back in. Backed up to Barrera. They'll send it across to Enman. Yandelate. That's Salzburg putting that across the box, but there was no one there. DeStasio. Nyack really trying to press forward now. DeStasio and Enman. 50-50 ball there that DeStasio comes out with. Smith with Brian on his back. Garner. Park back in his usual holding midfield role. Bello with Conahan on him. Bello. DeStasio. That is a throw into Nyack. Enman going over rather theatrically. It is going to be called a free kick there. That looked a bit exaggerated on Enman's part. Conahan. Enman. Towards Yandelate. He attracts the attentions of Josie Sanchez. Brian. Poked away. Garner. That is slammed off of Jack Mulhare and into the arms. Well, the chest first and then the arms of Kazun. Smith. Michael's being forced back. Kazun gonna have to blast it. Mulhare trying to get to that ball before Bello did and couldn't control himself on the turn. Luke Smith floats that one up. Conahan gets to it. Burkhart thought he'd won possession there, but it goes right to Brian. Park. That's handball against Tremaine Bryan. The first time that we've seen a handball call all day despite the fact that a couple of them have been rather blatant. That's a foul against Hondrakis. Park. Trying to spray that to Bello. Chuente. This is Yandelit. Off target. He got behind. He wanted a penalty call. Today's Game in Frame broadcast is sponsored by Salt Athletic. Salt have made the world's freshest, most advanced cleat bag. The aircase uses antimicrobial technology to block smell, making for odor-free car rides and houses. Salt is offering the Game in Frame community an exclusive discount. Scan the QR code to get 10% off and keep it fresh. Bello gets that down. DeStasio floats it to Burkhart. The two brothers playing with each other. Park. Sanchez. Yandelit was about to attack that, but he lost his footing. Now Corey Burkhart rides the tackle from Chuente. Garner has some space on the left side. Garner going back post, header, goal! Both of the number 9s scoring today for Hoboken. It was Luca DeStasio with a great header at the back post. To put in the cross from Adam Garner. 12th of the year for DeStasio. His first since early November. And Hoboken now have some breathing space. Now Smith. This could get ugly quickly, but Smith flies it over the bar. That ball perhaps headed towards a watery grave. 73rd minute. And now, time very much the enemy for Nyack. Some changes for Nyack as well. That's Ibrahima Diallo who has come on. Garner. DeStasio. The two combining once again. DeStasio able to intercept that back pass. Park. Yandelit. That's a good dummy there, but Conahan didn't fall for it. Sorry, that was Enman, not Conahan. Sanchez poking the ball out of bounds. And this, I believe, the last change of the day for Nyack. It is Yandelit, who been going a little bit uncontrolled the last couple of minutes. And Enman just stole about a quarter of the field with that throw in while the referee's back was turned. Stays here. Throw in. Mulher and Enman fighting with Sanchez and DeStasio. Stays here. Now a whistle. And that last throw for Hoboken here. Really trying to push. They know that any goal to start this comeback has to come quick if they are to do so. Mike Bello. Here's Park. Switch long, DeStasio, the wind knocking that down before it got to him. Daniel Barrera seems to have moved up into midfield. Offside is the call here. Nyack starting quickly. Bryan. Amadou Barry. Mulher. Moving it for Enman. Enman gets around into the middle. Barry didn't get there. Mulher can't get past Sanchez. He'll stride forward with it. Spencer Burkhart. Bello. Sanchez made a run all the way into the Nyack box. He's going to have to get back now. Header won by Nyack. Garner intercepting that pass. DeStasio, a little bit too sharp with it, but Bello's going to lead him in again. No penalty. It was shoulder to shoulder in the eyes of the referee. It was close. Referee has been letting a lot go today. The first half, Hoboken could have taken your pick of successive handballs in the box that might have been called. And Sanchez not going to get called for a foul there on Barry, who is thunderstruck that the whistle didn't get called. Here's Corey Burkhart. Burkhart exchanges with Bello. Bello tipped over the bar. Good save by Demopoulos to keep his team within some shouting distance. Coming up on 12 minutes left. Into the mix, headed out by Enman. That is way offside. Ibrahima Diallo. Remember, there is no assistant on this side of the field, on the right-hand side. Referee has to make that judgment himself. He did. It looked very much like it was correct. Michaels poked away, and then Paredes just got thrown out of the way. A shot and a goal by Amadou Barry. The fact that that was allowed to stand, rather shocking considering how Brian Paredes was dealt with on the play at the sideline. It's 2-1, and it is game on, but I don't really think it ought to be. Two to one now. But Hoboken, perhaps done wrong by this referee who has missed some things today. He has ignored others. And you have to wonder about just how different this game could be if some of those calls did come. Swept away by Hundrakis. Hoboken, best way to keep somebody from scoring is to stay in their half. It'll be Garner to bring this in. Smith. Park. Looking for Bello at the far post. Couldn't get a lot on the header there. Easy save for Demopoulos. He is shoving his men forward. Looking for Bryan there. Amadou Barry, the goal scorer for Nyack, forcing that throw. It has been an eventful second half. Here is Diallo being forced back. Lays it off for Bryan. Into the middle, Denic tried to flick it on, but Kazun with strong hands. Burkhart. Sanchez gets in the way of that pass. DeStasio gets past Barrera, past Enman. Looking for Corey Burkhart in the middle. Chuente with a good read to keep it from him, but Hoboken keep it bottled up. Conahan is going to get a throw in. It's Hoboken's throw. Couple of players on Hoboken's sideline starting to move and warm up. Only seen the one change for them. Got Emmett Aller and Adam Yingling on the bench. Spencer Burkhart backs this up. Paredes. Launches that one forward. Burkhart. The wind again messing with some of these long passes. Here's another cross from Garner. It wasn't where he wanted it. Conahan. Here's Barrera sprinting upfield. Barrera into the middle, and Diallo badly skewing his shot. He overran it a little bit. Garner, Burkhart. Gonna slow this one down. Burkhart. Enman gets it away from him. Dimopoulos. Dimopoulos upfield. Denic is made for the up there to be a target man. He really hasn't had much say in this game yet. That one over the head of Mulhare. Park is there to track him. And Michaels is there to take the ball away. He was looking to try to square it to somebody that he didn't actually have. Chuente, though, takes that clearance. Here's Mulhare! That's a foul! It's a yellow for Paredes, and it is in very good position for a direct free kick. Four minutes left. That was just in front of the box. Here we go. Result. Kazun, strong hands. It was right at him. And he did not let it go anywhere. That was a tougher save than it looked, the way he executed that. Hondrakis. Couple of players finally coming out. Diallo didn't have the angle, and Kazun comes out for it. There are a couple of players stripped off and ready to come out for Hoboken here in the closing phases. Smith. Park regains that one. D'Estacio. Garner. Good play by Garner there, trying to move it into the middle. Spencer Burkhart knocked off balance. Here's Brian. Chuente. Mulhare. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the game, plus stoppage time. That's out to this far side. Into the middle, headed out by Garner. Enman tries to loop that over Luke Smith's head. Bello couldn't hold that up. Chuente wants the far side. Michaels was pulled back. Referee, I think, is calling advantage there. Not quite sure where the advantage ended up. So Spencer Burkhart will step away. Emmett Aller will come on. And Mike Park as well. Oh, sorry, that isn't Park, that is Michaels coming off. All hands to the pumps here for both sides. Nyack for defense. Hoboken, Nyack for offense rather, Hoboken for defense. If you want to see some more action today, starting in just a few moments, Vistula Garfield versus Richmond County at 6 o'clock. Long Island Rough Riders versus Ironbound in USL 2. That's on Sports Engine. And at 8 o'clock, the most important match of this round in the APSL. Doxa against Kid Super Samba in what amounts to a relegation playout. Sanchez fires that one up. Bello. D'Estacio exchanges with Bello. Pulled back across, and Dimopoulos claims the cross. We are in stoppage time. Putting that one up long. Garner holds off Barrera. Kazun up to take it. Barrera looks like he got the worst of that collision. Park. And a card is out for Mike Park. Dimopoulos is going to come up and pitch this in long. Sent one over the last time he just tried. This might be the match. Referee is getting into position to check any offside. Up it goes. Cleared out by Sanchez. Park heads it wide. Tremaine Bryan. Now Barry. Out of play off Smith. Dimopoulos up at the halfway line. Schwente into the box, repelled by Paredes. Gagu Namorev, who was the man who came on for Justinian Michaels, clears that one off, and that is mishandled by Barry, and that could do it once we put the ball back into play. A fiery second half. Josie Sanchez again trying to hit it as hard as he can. Conahan all the way back to Dimopoulos. Floated up Fields. Conahan's all the way up, and Kazun got his hands to it and then recovered to drop on it. A line drive kick there was not the best of plays by Kazun. Barry is around Namorev. Josie Sanchez flies over to remove that ball from the box. Another header, Namorev. Still going. It's been a grandstand finish to this match. Dimopoulos is basically selling out for is basically giving up any long clearances for a goal. That one is headed over, and that is the end. Hoboken, with their second straight win to close out the year. Nyack, like we said at the top of the broadcast, could potentially, mathematically, find themselves in 11th place by the end of the evening and in the play-out spot, but it is not likely given what other results might have to happen. The final score here from Laurel Hill Park: Hoboken 2, Nyack 1. I'm Sam Lopresti for Game in Frame. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you for our next match.